So we are replacing the speakers, the passenger second row door speakers. This Suburban it's 2003 Suburban, and it has the Bose system in it. There's one of the stock speakers. I thought these were going to be 6.5s. I must have looked at the wrong thing and ordered 6.5s for it. And it looks like they're 5.25s or some oddball size. But honestly, I would rather have 6.5s in it, and I'd rather go through the trouble of putting a 6.5 in it if I'm going to replace them, because it really wasn't that difficult. What you're going to want to do, I'll show you on the other side. You can't trim this speaker. I don't know if it's the same on a non-Bose system. It probably is, but this door speaker, you cannot trim the plastic out enough. There's a shield. I'll show you on the other side. Like I said, there's a shield on the speaker mount that kind of blocks rain from getting. So you can't. I guess if you got rid of that, you might could cut the plastic out big enough to fit that. But the easier thing to do is, and I had trimmed it out a little bit, seeing if I could get it to fit, and I couldn't. So ended up making just a spacer. This was out of fiberboard, 3/16, I think, fiberboard, and it's just what I had. And so I made a little spacer, and that spaced it out enough to where it would fit in the hole that was made for that speaker. We'll have to see if I have to trim the other side out. I trimmed this side out trying to get that one to fit a little bit better, and then ended up making this spacer, and we'll see if we have to trim the other side out or if we can leave it the stock size. We'll probably have to trim it a little bit to make this fit, but it fits perfect. It does space it out a little more, but the door panel still clears just fine. It fits right in the same hole. As you can see, I went with I think they're Alpines. Yeah, went with these. I don't have this door panel all the way on yet, but let's go over to the other side and tear that side down. But before I do that, I'll do a little demonstration right here. We'll do the stock speaker. I'll let you listen to the stock speaker on that side. Then we'll come over here and we'll listen to the Clarion before we get both of them changed out, so you can hear the difference in them. Definitely a lot brighter here. I think they're not getting much bass. I'm pretty sure that the Bose amp cuts bass to all the speakers and sends it all to the sub. So I think when I replace the head unit, they'll get a little bit more bass, but they do have a good sound to them right now. going to take this door panel off. So first thing you want to do, we're going to pop this lock out. So just get a screwdriver in behind, or some kind of little plastic blade or something. It just pulls off. Then we're going to want to take this panel here off. You start over in this upper corner over here. Doesn't want to release. There we go. Clip got hung up. Let's see. Let's bring it back a little bit. There we go. And then take a maybe metric, but I use the 9/32. We've got a screw here, right under the door pull, and then we've got one right in this inside corner right here, kind of below the speaker. So we'll take those two out. Alright, got those 4 screws out. You'll just push in on this little clip, push in on this, and you can slide the speaker connection out. So here's what we're left with. This is the plastic mount that's mounted to the door that the speaker bolts to. And what we're going to need to do first, before we can see if it'll fit, you've got these alignment plastic things that kind of help align the stock speaker. There's 4 of them. You're going to want to trim those off flush, because we need to mount this other speaker flush, and these are in the way. So I just used side cutters to cut most of it off, then used a razor knife and trimmed it, and then just kind of whittled it down to the plastic. You could also use like a little grinding stone on a Dremel or something like that, but you want to get rid of these 4 little things and make it flush. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Oh, and this is what I was talking. It's got this little rain shield thing, and I wanted to leave that in place to help protect the new speakers. So I didn't want to trim all this out, because that would trim this, it would make this thing come off. So I couldn't make this hole big enough without, you know, but if you space the speaker out, the hole doesn't have to be as big. So that's what I did. Alright, so I used these and this and just trim those off flush. So now we're going to do a test fit and turn it towards facing that way. As you can see, we're going to have to trim some out. What we need to do is get it to where it will fit towards this big around. Our spacer takes up this little 3/16 of an inch right here, so we just need to make the hole this big, not this big. So I might put it in there and tighten it down, but I'd rather it fit nice. And I trimmed the other side out, so I'll trim this side out. What I'm using to trim it out is this little router bit on my Dremel, and I'm just freehanding it, so I mean it's not pretty or anything, but I'll take out about 1/8 of an inch. I'll just go along like this, take out about 1/8 of an inch all the way, starting right here, right below this little rain guard, and going all the way to the other side where the rain guard is. So basically the bottom, I'm going to say that's the bottom 60%. And just take about 1/8 of an inch out all the way. And then we'll test fit it, and then we'll put some silicone on our spacer. and put some silicone on both sides of the spacer and drill some holes, and we'll mount it all up. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Like I said, just freehanded it, transitioned over into here, all the way around up to there, and it fits now. So now we fit that much of it. It's fitting up against this ledge right here, and our spacer fills into right there. So that'll be perfect. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and snip this connector off, and we'll wire up our speaker leads. We got yellow and brown, it looks like. And brown is positive, yellow is negative. So we're going to wire into those. We'll plug up our speaker, put our spacer on, and get it positioned just right, and drill some holes. Alright, so got the holes in my spacer ring, and got my holes drilled in here. That puts the positive and negative, the speaker lead connectors right about right there. Perfect for getting these on. I've did me some little markers where my screw holes are, so I can line up the trim ring and find my screws once I get the caulking on it. It'll be a little harder to find. So I'm going to put caulking on both sides of this. All I'm using is some Ultra 230 windows, doors. It's like flashing siding, but it's outdoor, black. Kind of blends in with all the black junk here. So let me get that done. I'm going to use these screws that came with these speakers. Just some Phillips head screws. They're longer than the stock speakers since we're going through quite a bit of stuff here. We've got spacers, we've got all that, so I'd just use these longer ones that came with the speakers, but you probably could reuse the stock screws if you wanted to. So let me get the speaker on there. Alright, it's installed, so it's snugged up tight. 4 screws in it. Said I put that caulking on both sides, on the inside and the outside, just to make sure I had a good weather tight seal on it. And the old speaker had a gasket. Of course, the new one has no gasket, so use a little silicone. All we need to do now is slip the door panel on, and we'll be done. So I'm going to end it from here. The door panel goes on just like it came off. Just pick it up, slide it down. It's got some little hooks that hook in there and here and here, and then just pop this on. Make sure you get it in the hole, just like that. And let me think. Oh, also make sure you get it facing the right way. So make sure that when the door's unlocked, it's showing the red. It should be facing back like that. So anyway, that's it. Oh, slip your wire connectors back in, plug that back in, and you'll be good to go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I slipped it up easy, and that still. Oh, the other side broke off too. Must be a common thing. So before I put the door panel back on, probably from shutting it, this plastic probably gets brittle. Yeah, just from the handle. So I'll get some JB weld and see if I can put that back. Probably won't hold, but we'll do it, and I'll wait to put the door panels back on until the JB weld sets up. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Figured I'd just show y'all how I fix these what do you want to call them, hooks, whatever they are. I just put some JB weld across where they broke, and then JB weld on the door panel right here, because these sit up against the door panel, so it's gluing where it broke off, and it's attaching them to the door panel. Yes, I know that if I ever need to replace the pad, it's now going to be glued to the thing, but I don't plan on replacing the pad, and if I ever do, I can get it off, so that's not a problem. This one was not broke, but I went ahead and pulled it away and put some JB weld under there, and just to kind of glue it to here, because what's happened, this panel, which is the driver's side back door, this one and this one were broke. The passenger side back door, only that one was broke, but I figure that one, it was broke on the other side, on the driver's side, it's probably going to break on the passenger side. So, you know, that's why I put the JB weld under there. You can kind of see how it is right there. Come on, focus. You see where it broke, the JB weld there, and the same thing over here. And I ran out of quick JB weld, so we've got the long setup stuff, so we're gonna have to let that sit for a while, 4 to 6 hours. So what I'll do is I'll just set these inside, and I'll put them back on in the morning. So we're going to button this up. I'm just going to close the doors, pick up my tools, and we'll be done for tonight, and I'll slip the door panels on tomorrow. So anyway, thanks for watching.